Self-awareness, the ability to take an honest look at your life without attachment to it being right or wrong, by Debbie Ford. In the English dictionary, there are 780 words that start with self, but selfish is the one I abhor the most. The reason is simple. I was scared after being branded the self-centered, self-absorbed, and self-serving child the day I asked to be removed out of the current hostile living condition. I stood frozen, dumbfounded, yet stricken with guilt. Born a girl in a traditional family, I observed my mother's unconditional love with respect and gratitude. My sister and I were taught that self-sacrifice was the most admirable virtue of Vietnamese women. Maintain that fire, my mother said to my engaged sister. The fire that cooks your family daily meals, warm your children's bed, it is our job and our duty. I always picture love and passion as a cozy, flickering fireplace, and I naively vouched to follow the footsteps of my family's women passing on that torch. Little did I know, we should never play with fire. The more passionate one's love was, the more devastating its tantrum became. When my sister gave birth to her first child, she moved back to our house along with her husband so that we could take care of them best. Unfortunately, like every new parent, they were under tremendous stress. What started to be typical bickering, venting, frustration quickly escalated to cruel exchange, hurling one another. What was once a safe nest turned into a constant battlefield filled with ticking bombs. Junior year, I walk on eggshells, tiptoeing around my own house, fearing for both my sister's sanity and her safety. I started to lose sleep. My ears were glued to the wall, awaiting for the slightest cry for help from my sister to rush to her aid. At the same time, my growth as a designer finally paid off. I became the creative director for the Olympia School International Diploma programs. Most important, Mackenzie Business Case Study, bringing 7-Eleven convenience store to Hanoi. The pressure to perform drove me off the edge. I found myself bursting in uncontrollable sobs in the middle of the night, dozing off in faint hallucination of peaceful nap under an old oak tree. Stricken with guilt of betraying my family's value, I took all the courage to ask for permission to let go of my sister's fire, which torched my palm into bubbling blister. We must stay together as a family. We must stand by her. We must not think of ourselves, for family always comes first, said my mother. I was drowning in pain. How can I explain to my mother, whose pages on self-love, self-appreciation were ripped off from her dictionary the moment she was born? How can I explain to her it was not selfish, but self-awareness and self-protection I was practicing, and I could not help anyone if I myself was at risk? So I did the unimaginable, the taboo, the forbidden act, seeking support from my school's psychiatrist. Without shame, without fear, I opened myself up and learned to understand my mother, to communicate with her, and to help her help herself. Together with the school support, I got to be leader in multiple mental awareness projects through art for fellow students, especially those who were confused and hurt. I am not selfish. I need the self-awareness to listen to my needs and take care of myself. That spring, I held my mother's scarred fingers in my hands as we watched my brother-in-law moved out of the house. That spring, I patched together pages as my mother read them quietly at night, processing the concept of self-worth. That spring, the women in my family learned to unlearn our self-harm habits from being unable to let go, of neglecting our self-fulfillment. The house was still warm. It was our new beginning.